Been working, but we got I've been getting deeper into the Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard kicks butt, man. I'm with Vince Gill. I recently saw him state that he thinks Merle's the greatest country artist ever. And I'd have to agree, because he's been putting out albums since I think 65 or 4 was the first. And in every album he never put like a total clinker out. And he put a ton of fucking albums out. We're talking just about 2 albums a year into the 80s. Like, for instance, I think if you go and see his discography, it was like 1976 he put out, this is the name of it, was Merle Haggard presents his 30th album or something. You know, that was like just over 10 years into his career. So, and just good, everyone is solid. You know, some are great, but they're all good. And I guess for years and years and years, Hank Williams was the greatest country artist ever, you know, and the Country Music Awards, I don't know what they do, I've never watched it, but they do something where they acknowledge that or something. I don't know if they vote every year. But anyway, it was Hank Williams from the time he died, or whenever they started it, until just recently when, toward the end of Johnny Cash's life, Johnny Cash got it. They gave it to, Johnny Cash got voted. And that's a stretch, man, because first of all, a lot of Cash's stuff, early stuff, kind of rockabilly, and then from about the mid-70s until those American recordings in 1990 or so, he didn't do much. He wasn't writing as much, and he wasn't great. There was some good stuff, and but he wasn't overly prolific or anything. And Merle Haggard was right through that, And Merle just kicks butt, man. The more you get to know about him, the more I like him. So I just recently got a good an album. It's a twofer. A lot of the twofers. One thing, it may have been his 30th album, like just over 10 years into his career, but all the albums, even though they were like 10 to 12 songs, they were like 30 minutes, So you can get a lot of CDs where there's 2 albums on each one. Like, for instance, I got a bunch of these recently. And they're all usually used and cheap, so. That's the way love goes. Great tune. But I got this one, I don't know the name of it. Someday We'll Look Back or something like that. There's a tune on there that first time I heard it was like stop and like holy shit, just the intensity. It's a heavy tune. It's called Huntsville. And it's about when I was reading the description though, it might have been, I go to All Music a lot of times when I'm looking for a discography for, artists like this with like a ton of albums. Some of them have reviews and they're like, Huntsville, it's like another, a remake of a prison song or something. Or like another prison song, in the vein of, Mama Tried and stuff, and Merle actually spent years in prison. If you read his autobiography, he was in a lot of trouble as a young kid. All minor stuff, but like he'd get sent to boys' homes and shit, as a teenager, and he'd escape them all. He'd take off, so that would just get you in more trouble. And then eventually, as you age, all of a sudden it becomes a more serious offense. Then he tried to do some robbery, which is an actual offense. So he was little in San Quentin, man. So, but this tune was intense when I first heard it. And the tune right after it too is the last tune on that album was "The Only Trouble with Me Is You." I thought that was a good one. That's one I may have to learn too, but that's more of a ballady, because those songs speak for me, And a lot of times, like with Dylan, sometimes the chorus may be all it is, and some of the lyrics kind of make it a little too specific about something, but do people really notice that? So we'll do a little Huntsville here. While that old white-haired judge in Dallas didn't pay my story no mind. They're taking me down to Huntsville. I'm bringing in a load of time. They called me on a caper that I planned for days and proved everything I'd done. I'm on my way to Huntsville, but I'm looking for a chance to run. My hands don't fit no chopping pole, and cotton never was my bag. The man better keep both eyes on me, or they're gonna lose old Hag. But it ain't so far to Mexico that I can't find my way. They're taking me down to Huntsville, but I'm not gonna stay. They got me a chain and leg irons. I guess they got a good excuse. They know I'm gonna run the first chance I get, 'cause they're never gonna cut me loose. I really don't care if they shoot me down. I'll never be free again. I've got 2 long life terms to do, both running and on end. Hey, it ain't so far to Mexico that I can't find my way. They're taking me down to Huntsville, but I'm not gonna stay. That was a rough first draft. The riff, I gotta work that riff a little more, and I think it's not the same every time like I did it after each line there. But still fun. That works for me. Probably for you if I didn't let you know that. So that's it. I learned that song. I had to learn it, and now you just go forward and you refine it. Because think about it. As a casual music listener, do you know anything about it? And I'm speaking from experience. When I grew up listening to music, like the fact that I can more or less play a credible version of Wild Horses, you may not like my voice and all that, and I may fuck it up here and there, but I can more or less play the songs, is just incredible. And just think about when you're a music fan and you're listening, you don't know nothing. You don't know what's missing. There may be some things but for the most part, So like once you start playing and you get really self-conscious, there's things like a lot of times the videos I make, and again, I'm all right with what I do. I can sing the melody mostly in key. And I think I can present a song, and hopefully it gets better all the time. But a lot of times I'm like, oh my God. And then I watch it after, like, days later, and I'm like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. So, as the person doing it, you're much more conscious of all the little fuck-ups and shit, so. But check that out, Merle Haggard, man. It's good for you.